4 days before the wedding, I sat in the Blackwell drawing room, leather, marble, portraits of stern ancestors, and watched my future father-in-law slide a leather-bound brick across a mahogany table. A simple prenup, Harold said, swirling, ancient brandy. I won't let a poor man steal my daughter's money. The smirk said he thought the game was over. I skimmed the pages. It was a masterpiece of legal arrogance. Anything earned in the marriage would be Isabel's. No spousal support for me, ever. Any dollar I invested with their family would become theirs, permanently. In other words, sign here to become a decorative husband. Isabel stared at the rug. Her mother, Margaret, watched like a pearl-strung hawk. I asked, "You knew about this?" "It's just paperwork," she said. That was the moment the switch flipped. They saw a charity case. What they didn't see was the actual ledger. I grew up over a grease-stained garage in Savannah. Dad turned wrenches. Mom taught middle school math under flickering lights. I stocked grocery shelves at night, saved what I could, clawed my way into Columbia on scholarships, and learned how money moves. By graduation, I'd flipped a few properties. By 30, I'd built an investment firm, stacked rental doors across 3 states, and learned to keep success quiet. The condo near Isabel's place was camouflage. The $3 million penthouse downtown was home. Last month, Forbes shot my cover. The Southeast's quiet mogul. The verified number they printed was $29 million. So when Harold called for weeks just checking in, fishing for balance sheets under the guise of fatherly concern, I played along. When Isabel began parroting lines about financial transparency and merging accounts, I heard Harold's voice with lipstick. They wanted a mark. They got a counterparty. That night I went home, to the penthouse, not the decoy, and called my attorney, Laura Kessler, the meanest scalpel in Charleston. "Lock down everything," I said. Within hours, my life slid behind glass, operating companies into an irrevocable trust, properties to clean LLCs, liquid cash laddered and offshore. Same income to me, but the underlying assets no longer mine. To seize. If I were dumb enough to sign Harold's document, it would capture nothing but lint. Then I rang the wedding planner. "One change," I said. "Mark me as a guest." Wedding day dawned perfect and performative. St. Philip's glowed, yachts gleamed, Blackwells preened. I skipped the custom tux and wore an old Navy suit from Men's Warehouse, the look of the man they wanted me to be. When I walked down the aisle to find a seat, heads swiveled. Margaret blanched. Harold shot up and intercepted me midway like an usher with a vendetta. "What is this?" he hissed. I pulled the prenup from my pocket, clean, unsigned. "You said, sign it or no wedding. I chose no wedding." The gasp rolled through the church like thunder. "You'll walk away with nothing," he barked. I smiled, reached into my other pocket, and handed him the latest Forbes. My face on the cover, the headline, the number. 29 million, I said lightly. That's just what they could verify. Preston, the heir with Vausseau opinions, made a small, dying goldfish sound. Margaret grabbed the pew, pearls strangling. Isabel stood at the altar in couture, suddenly calculating losses instead of vows. "You knew," she said, voice breaking. "You let us treat you like a project?" I said. "I wanted to see who you were when you thought I had nothing," Harold sputtered. "I had you investigated." "You had me stereotyped," I said. "You saw grease under fingernails and stopped reading." Phones appeared. Charleston's finest leaned in. I let the silence do the math, then turned and walked out into the sun. On the steps, the valet kid, college bills in his eyes, handed me my keys. "Hell of a show, sir." I tipped him 100. He'd just watched a dynasty trip over its own hubris. The calls started before I hit the interstate. Isabel cycled from apologies to bargaining to "I love you." Harold ricocheted between threats and deals. Renegotiate, merge, be reasonable. Margaret texted weaponized etiquette. Preston wanted to know why I'd made him look stupid. Delete, delete, delete. Back at the penthouse, I poured a Macallan and stepped onto the balcony. The harbor glittered. St. Philip's spire pricked the sky miles away, presiding over the ruins of a narrative. What did I lose? A fiancé who called my future just paperwork. What did I keep? My freedom, my dignity, my company, my quiet. The Blackwells had wanted a poor man at their daughter's wedding. I obliged, right up until I reminded them. Poverty isn't a balance sheet. It's a mindset. And theirs, it turns out, was bankrupt.